Hey there, everybody. How's it going? Let's see. I think the stream's up and running. Everything's looking correct. Let's see. I'm going to pop out the chat. Yeah, we are going to do some. We're going to awesome. All right, we're going to be doing some superhero life development. Um, let's see. I never, I never feel like I can find a good place to put the stream chat. Like I don't want to put it all the way over here because I got to look across the entire screen. Uh, but also like I don't know. I'm not seeing too many great places to put it. Yes, the AC works now. Hey there, Ryan. How's it going? Let's see. Oh, that reminds me. I didn't respond to your message yet. I'm sorry. It's been a busy evening. Yeah. In fact, this is just going to be. I don't. Okay. I'm definitely starting stream at right now. I might be able to go for 2 hours. I might not. It's been a busy, hectic day. So if I have to pause within 30-second warning, that might happen. But yeah, the everyone give a hand to Ryan. He is a very smart person who did a really good job on a cool presentation today. Um, let's see the let's see. So I think let's see. Let's open up Studio. Yeah, the um what's good? I guess hopefully the game. Let's see. When do you think everything will be ready? So that depends. If I only do development, if I only do development when on stream, this game will take forever because I only stream for about 2 hours a day. Right now, it is a pretty busy time. I'm working on a few different projects. Um, mostly contract work, which allows that it allows a lot of things, and I work for some pretty awesome people. But for the most part, the that has led to full night cycle development stuff to be a little bit more, maximum maybe 15, 20 hours a week. Which, in fairness, that's how many hours a week I was getting in when Superhero Life 2 originally came out. Because I was a full-time student. So it's not necessarily like bad news. In fact, it probably will force me to be little bit more efficient, a little bit more considerate with my timing. Um, but yeah, but in terms of everything being ready, we're going to, you know, it's looking like it takes us around 2 streams to get something prototyped. Probably going to take another 2 streams to, you know, let's say build it out, like flesh it out. So that's probably four. Let's round up to 5 streams per map location. And what there are, how many map locations are there? So there's one, two, uh, you know, okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So they're about 11. And so already we're doing 40 to 50 streams just to remake the map, which comes into around 10 weeks. Then from that's not even doing any coding. So I might end up, but that also this isn't like a hard and fast rule. Like not everything needs to take as long as this one. Wow, these textures are taking forever to load in. So yeah, so here's the current rebuilt. Uh, you know, here's the current basic vibe we're going for with the uh, refinery area. Uh, I like it for the most part. I think it's probably better than the original, which is not a huge thing. We're gonna, of course, have to add a little bit more like machinery and stuff, but at the end of the day, this map is going to have some quirks, some oddities. Um, but yeah, the okay, so I'm going to you know, add just we're gonna like, don't worry. When we flesh this out later, it's going to look, a lot more a lot nicer. But just for now, okay, I think let's finish off by putting some kind of material on the roof, so that we can. Oh, and we were going to swap out a material with the uh, with what's it called? We were going to swap a material for the ground because we wanted some cobblestone. But yeah, so we're thinking, so probably I'll probably have to do some work off stream. Not necessarily because I couldn't stream it. It's more just I don't always have the energy to, and also just I think it's better to establish a schedule, and I just can't really schedule. And so, I want y'all to know you can come to this channel every day at this time, and watch some game development. And I think that for that you got to really, I don't want to mess with things too much. Okay, so here's the material manager, which we really upgraded. Um, okay, so uh, yeah, so right now we're trying to find a good cobble, not cobble, but yeah, that's a lot. Yeah, no, this came from some material pack of with a lot of items, a lot of stuff. Let's see, how's this one look? No, it's where's the one which was just gravel? Would gravel be under rock? I don't know why they round it. Like, if you check out, this is a brick variant. Instead of having a brick material, they limited it to be oh, rocks or brick, but they're not stone or all that stuff. It's just confusing, unnecessarily confusing. Are we have so I'm gonna probably be removing gems as a currency and translating it into the other main currency, just because I don't know, I don't like having a secondary currency. I think that it closes off a lot of gameplay. Like, I want the people who don't have any money but just like the game to be able to enjoy the same game as other people. I don't want to make two separate games. And the obviously you'd be able to buy that currency, but really I just want everyone to be included, while also, of course, making a game that earns, some money. But honestly, you don't have to put when you only have one person working on the game, you don't have to have it make a whole ton of money for it to be worth it. And so, okay, we're this seems more gravel-ish. Um, it's not bad. Okay, where? All right, well, let's just start by going to, okay, so materials. So it's rock. So rock, debris, gravel, oyster. Oyster, override. So now we're going to actually go into what was this? Was this tile? Pavement. I think it was pavement. No, wait. Okay, no, I need to change this to be I need to have this be tile or pavement as a base. Okay, so now change pavement to override. All right, yay, we have something. It's fine. Let me change the scale a bit, see if that makes it better. A little bit more textured, but still not great. Yeah, oh yeah, oh, the file in Superhero 3 called Don't Show the Chinese. That is because for a while, Superhero Life 3 was um, was part of a localization program to try to make it playable in China, and China has a ton of strict censorship laws. So yeah, like there were a lot of things that I just had to, like maybe not a lot of things. There were a few things that I had to like make sure I had not visible in those in that. I'm guessing, some modder or something saw it at some point. But yeah, no, that's the reasoning for that. It's because I really wanted to make sure, okay. I've always been verbose with my naming of things. That one definitely had a bit of humor going into it because I don't know, I thought it was a bit silly that I had, put in that much effort into censoring things. It's like y'all are gonna have these goofy laws for my game, which is very much inoffensive. I don't know. Many people have talked about how Chinese game censorship is a bit much, but you know, at the end of the day, I ended up not actually going through with it. I don't know. This was around the time when there was starting to be some backlash around, how the Chinese government hasn't exactly been behaving. And so I just kind of like I politely dropped out and didn't end up going through with the program as it evolved, which is a shame. I probably missed out on a decent amount of money. I don't think Roblox is still localizing for China, but I might be wrong. Um, but yeah, no, that was from a different time. We probably would not be re-adding that folder in the remake. Um, but yeah, yeah, so yeah, no, localizing is always an interesting process, though, because China is such a large market and, a very distinct set of cultural values and a government which is willing to enforce them. Yeah, yeah, I would not be shocked if many Roblox developers had some form of that. Though they probably, honestly, you shouldn't use a folder, you should use a tag, like something like a hide from China, or like, just some sort of like I don't know. I'm trying to think of a way which doesn't sound ridiculous. It's like because like that's literally what it is. You're not allowed to show your Chinese users this. But I'd recommend collection service because that way you can leave those assets wherever they are, and then just check if you should show them, and then query them. Yeah, collection service and tags are very useful. Um, yeah, will we be able to be more destructive in game? Let's see. Oh, yeah, well, I think like destruction in general should be pretty easy to do. Let me just move this over here. Sorry. The main, I guess, we won't be able to like blow up buildings. That's just a lot. That's a lot of functionality to add. Though I would love to have a map that's fully reactive to to what's it called? It's fully reactive to player behavior. For example, like what I want is for you when you jump off a tall building and land on the pavement should crack under you. That's the kind of stuff that we're going to be going for. When you punch a glass window, it should crack, or if there's an environment behind it, shatter. Like those things are pretty easy for the most part. Having like a punch so strong it like makes a building collapse. That's usually where you get some crazy complex, pre structured things. And while it would be quite nice, it's not necessarily how I would, I'm not sure it would be worth the amount of effort, especially when you consider that just making something work is one thing. Making it work on every mobile device at least 30 frames per second, that's not easy. You really got there's a reason there are so many like gameplay videos I have on Twitter of really cool stuff that never ended up being playable. It's because actually optimizing it and cleaning it up and modifying it and fixing all those edge cases, that takes so long. It is so easy to make something that looks cool for 30 seconds. Actually making it resilient and performant, it's a nightmare. Let's see. Trying to figure out like, hmm, okay, I'm going to actually replace the, I'm going to go out of my way and actually just do this right. For anyone wondering why I used pavement right here instead of like pebbles, because it's obvious that I want pebbles. It's because there's this really cool plugin I use called Terrain Painter, which allows you to have, some variety. It allowed me to really quickly, have this sort of patchier, more natural effect, which once you get some actual like vegetation and stuff in here, like, okay, you can see it looks really nice around here for the most part. Like, and it allowed me to do this really quickly. But it doesn't have, yeah. Let's see. When do you think this will open for testing? I mean, like, it'll probably be testable before it's ready for playing, if that makes any sense. Like, I might like, we might have like a sort of like a Superhero Life 3.5. Um, yeah, let's see, but there's still a lot of work that needs to be done. Like, before I start coding, the coding part is going to be relatively quick compared to recreating assets. But I feel like for the most part, also the like here's the bind I'm in. If I only recreate code and you reuse all the old assets, um, it will be quick, but it will not do anything that anyone cares about. Like it will fix a lot of bugs, but it'll also make some new ones. Um, and in many ways, I'll have to put effort into things which I don't necessarily feel there's a long lifetime for. Like for the gems system, I don't like the gems. I've changed my mind on them in the last half decade. I don't like them. Um, and or like the artifact system, which really is just a leftover. It's a vestigial appendage from a previous design. And so like you end up in this weird place where the actually remaking the game could be faster, but it would mean less. Like it wouldn't matter. It would just be like, kind of the lighting would change a bit and things would run a bit faster. Um, like, UI would tween and have a nicer color palette. Tween meaning that's the word for like moving, like animating. Um, and yeah, it's no, I think that for the most part, this is a decent balance. I just really don't want to get lost in the thing. What I'm probably going to do is I'm going to get this version of the game running with like, I'm going to get like just the prototype version with like just the prototype map stuff. And then like this would happen. This is what I do with Superhero Life 2. I'm going to make the prototype map done, and then I'm going to go back and fill it in. Was anyone here a tester for Superhero Life 2? This would have been like way back in 2017. It released in April something 2017, and then if the full release was July, and so we had about 3 months of iterative development, and all of that was what's it called? And so that might be a thing here where we get the bare minimum going first, then we build the systems around it, then we flesh it out. And so we're probably going to just focus on getting these next few buildings out. Like this was so much faster to make than this, and I think it shows to some extent. But the all right. So how about let's also like okay. I need to focus. Focus, focus. All right, I need to change the material here from pavement to pebbles. But can you list all the redesigned buildings real quick? I mean, like for the most part, The redesign, so like we're going to have all of these buildings remade from the ground up. Like this one right here will become this. These three buildings here, the lab, that will become this. And yeah, so the as to the actual body type, oh wait, let's see. Then I'm losing my the chat. There's too many messages that take too long to respond to. That's on me. Um, I'll say so. Gems and artifacts or whatever, like all the stuff that you own, the like that if any monetization stuff gets discontinued, those will be translated into appropriate in-game, like you'll be compensated accordingly based for like whatever the new economy looks like. And I'm not going to be stingy on it either. Like, I really want y'all to feel like, uh, you're still happy with purchase. In fact, I want the people who didn't purchase it to feel like they missed out. The people got so good a deal on, when things got moved over. So yeah, the that to me that'd be the gold standard. Um, the Let's see. So in terms of okay, so Arthro or Blocky. So I always liked because this is still Roblox. I don't want to. I'm not trying to make a game that isn't Roblox. Um, and I think that for the most part, the I like it will use it like it'll have like a Roblox look. I don't know if I'm going to stick with the blocky. I think that the blocky one is very inflexible and leads to some weirdness. But expect something kind of like the art like the Roblox 2.0 body or like something like there's actually one called a 4.0 where they have fingers. You might notice it sometimes. Like I want there to be variety in the body types. I want you to be able to tell if someone's muscular or masculine or feminine or non-binary. Like I want to be able to project all that stuff visually. And that requires a little bit more flexibility in the actual body type than um, is currently available with just the blocky version. And so as a result, the way I'm going to do this is I'm going to start by just, keeping things fairly simple with just a new default body type, but I'm going to make sure that the actual assets use layered clothing to the layered clothing technology to stay relatively flexible. Um, yeah, no, I don't want things to look ugly. Whatever the aesthetic I go with is, it'll be consistently applied so that the world fits. We want people to be able to have like feel like they're in a different place in this game. We don't want it to look like some sort of chaotic like mishmash of art styles. I'm not trying to make what was that movie called? One that everyone compared to Roblox. Ready Player One. I'm not making Ready Player One. I'm making an individual contained game where we try to make it feel like you can fit into it. You're not going to be able to come in as like some random different, completely different character model. Um, we might do things where we like look at your avatar to try to guess like, you know, what your character would look like to save you some time, but we're not going to be constraining you to it, and it'll be translated into whatever in-game systems there are. Um, let's see. Well, it's not going to be blocky. It's just not like I'm not going with the Roblox 1.0. It'll be closer to the Roblox 2.0 body, where like you can still the dimensions are still reasonably like unreal, but we're not going for realism, you know? Uh, yeah, so in terms of new accessories, I definitely want to support more accessories and stuff long term. Um, the number one goal will be translating existing stuff. The mall will be redesigned. It will not be removed. Um, let's see. So view, terrain editor. Okay, finally focused long enough to actually do this. So now, uh, so I want to replace the pavement with pebbles. Which one of these is pebbles? Really, they should put some text or something, like an icon or whatever. Is pebbles not a, is that just not a material? Is this why I'm having trouble? Because pebbles just aren't a thing? I guess we'll go with salt or something. Uh, I could have sworn there was. Can y'all confirm this? There's really no pebbles material or like, rocky debris? All right. Oh well. Okay. Yeah. Well, no big deal, thankfully. We, uh, how do I get to, I want to stay out here. Uh, Okay, perfect. Um, where'd that override go? All right, so let's find a good something that looks good. Ground. All right. This is probably why they're doing the base material stuff because you don't have that one-to-one mapping. I'm guessing that's got to be like a binary encoding thing, right? Like, they're using like base 64 for the terrain, but like not base 64, like up like 8-bit for the terrain, 16-bit for materials or something. How did I come up with the Nightcycle logo? Well, I was inspired by a painting of mine that I liked, Nighthawks, and the fact that I, really love going on late night bike rides. It's very calm and peaceful, and I really like it. Um, and so as a result, I I was like, okay, what's a brand that I really feel fits me? And I felt that that one, was cool, was memorable, and fit what, like, I guess my place in all of this, if that makes any sense. Um, Also, guys, I think I found the perfect material for this. Um, so we're going to change the override to salt. And then we're going to, go to salt ground override. Why does that not look right? Did I do something wrong? Come on. What? Is this not salt? Hmm. Oh, wait, maybe I need to mess with the brightness, like the color. That's a little bit better. Still not ideal though. Okay. But no, all right, now there we go. All right. Okay, that's a little bit nicer. I feel like we can do better though. All right, but, let's let's see. What plugin do I use for the terrain colors and design? I used Terrain Painter by Tyridge77. Yeah, he's the same guy who did the Wild Wild uh, West. Is it the Wild West or the Wild West? Might be confusing stuff, but no, very talented developer. Um, do I go to map, uh, then coding, or coding the map? So I do both. What I like to do is I like to establish a rough minimum version of the assets. Like for example, a very basic version of this map, and then a very basic version of, because I like to think that, you know, sometimes the map needs to change to reflect the mechanics, and sometimes the mechanics need to change to reflect the map. And so I like to make it an iterative process. I usually, depending on the game, I might switch it up, but I never finish one area, game or map, a gameplay or map first. I make it just make like a very minimum basic one, like kind of the like these ones here. Um, and then from there, I actually just try to let's see, what's a good color for this? Maybe like kind of a greenish. I kind of like that. All right. Let's see, maybe something a little bit darker. Okay, that's a bit better. I'll keep messing with it. I don't know. Watch as I spend the next, like, 3 streams just messing with the textures on things. But yeah, so I think that you can't really get a feel for the map without the mechanics, and you can't really get a feel for the mechanics without the map. Like, like running through the streets. If you make it so that your running is too fast, like super running, and then you're constantly running into the ocean, uh, then either your map might be too small or your running might be too fast. And for the most part, like if you make the running slower, but it just doesn't feel right, it doesn't feel good, then you have to go back and change it up the map. So like it's always a tug of war between the assets and the system. And so I try to get the minimum version of each of them going as quickly as possible. Okay, so now we're gonna make a metal here that isn't nearly um, as shiny at some point. Um, Yeah, the how will apartments work? So let's see. There, we're gonna make apartments better, but we're not like reinventing the wheel. You're gonna be able to rent a property. The property will be rented as a. Actually, maybe this is something we should talk about. I'm thinking that my dream is this is how the data structure is going to work. You'll have a player. The player will have different characters, and those characters will have different identities. So like you can have the same character with different names, different appearances, even different power customizations. They'll have the same powers, but like you can change the colors. So like if you want to have like a Super Saiyan mode or like a power up mode or like that moment like Iron Man's hitting the chest and like electrically charged up like you like you know I want to be able to support these different modes and and so with that in mind, I think that um, this will so when it comes to something like say buying an apartment, my thinking is that you'll buy an apartment for the entire account, but you'll be able to customize it, like change the colors per player. My goal is to make, recoloring your texturing stuff free and like placing stuff free. So like you'll just have like let's say you buy like a piece of furniture or something, you'll be able to use it across your builds, the amount that you have, like every single one of them, because you only have one of them loaded in at once. So like why make you rebuy it? That just seems mean. And so you'll be able to reuse that and retexture it. And then I'll probably have some support for like if you want to temporarily, if you want to like have something load in for everything, or maybe copy over a previous one. Like we want to have support for that. People who do just want to build it once and make it work for different characters, but that's something that is more down the roadmap. Main goal for now is just to allow people to express themselves as flexibly as they want. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, thank you all. It's always nice when I tell y'all an idea I had, and you're like, "That's a great idea," because I feel like I really do. It's like a hit or miss thing with my ideas. And like every time I make a poll, it's like sometimes it's like, okay, they're gonna love this. Like 95% dislike this idea. But then sometimes, well, there's a reason y'all played the games because I do occasionally have good ideas. So that's nice. Maybe like a bluish. I like blue. Um, Da ba dee da ba da. Okay, that's all right. I'll stop messing with it. I won't, but I'm saying that I will. I'll keep messing with it. Y'all can't stop me. The reason the game will never come out is because I'll just be messing with the textures of this specific area forever. Um, but yeah, so I think for the most part, the okay. So yeah, so apartments. So in terms of new animations, so in terms of animations, we're going to start with just the main animations, and we're going to make animations identity specific, both entrance and exit. Like, say that you want to do like a sort of like a pose, like when you load into a certain, like let's say that you have an identity for a character that's like completely on fire. And like, so you want to do like, like as they ignite. But then the previous person, the previous mode is like, um, is like covered in ice. And so like when you leave the ice mode, you might want to do a pose of like sort of like just like having like having the ice drip off you as water. And then what I would do is I'd stitch it with the fire pose. So it would go like water drips off, and then ignite. And so I'm thinking that animations in general, they'll have like each identity will have like an entrance and exit one. And so that way you can stitch them together in any way you like. Like if you want to have, in fact, ideally, I'd love if there were even like, I'd love if we could have, this might be a superhero by four thing, but for the most part, like my dream is to at some point allow for character identities to even be like very temporary to the point where like say that you have a character appearance that you jump into when like you're damaged, or like or just modifications. I really want to make this system very flexible. I just need to make sure not to accidentally overscope myself and to never release them because that has happened. But yeah, I think okay. So I'm gonna save this. Okay, so I think we can consider this done. I'm going to save it to the Git. I'm using a Git repository. Y'all get to see more of it when I start doing coding. But for the most part, okay. So we're just doing map stuff now. Um, Finish. Uh, I know that y'all can't see it on screen. I'll I'll add it at some point. But also like, not all my projects in my Git repository are like public ones. Like I've been hired for ones, and it's like I don't want to accidentally put something sensitive on screen. For the most part, though, the Roblox Studio and yeah, the OBS scene switcher is powerful, but like not powerful enough. The finished metal refinery prototype. All right, perfect. So I'm going to save that. In case anyone's wondering why you'd want to save to a Git refinery, not Git refinery, a Git repository, is because it allows you to do cool things like branching, where you can try out different ideas. Like you know how you quick save in video games? Let's say that you could go back in time to all your quick saves, try things out, and then if you like them, you could keep that version of reality and then remerge it back into your current one. To like, let's say you go back like a hundred hours into the gameplay, and you realize you should have picked up an item in a different part of the map, and then you can just go back, you know, do that, and then all of a sudden it'll be added to your. But honestly, that'd be kind of fun gameplay, just sort of like branching, like almost like just like branching gameplay where like you have to go back to previous parts, and then if you like accidentally use too much ammo or something, that like, and like at any point in the future you get like negative ammo, like it just won't let you go back to the future until you get more ammo. Like that can be pretty fun. You'd have to like rematch certain aspects of. Yeah. Okay. No. Sorry. Different in a one day. One day, very far from now, maybe I'll do that, or someone else can do that. I really think the idea isn't worth too much. Um, the mini games in general, I don't like mini games. I'm sorry, y'all. I every time I add mini games, I feel like I'm like making a mistake. I feel like you should have small, fun gameplay, like one-off gameplay, but that gameplay should be able to tie more clearly back into um, things like, okay, mini games I like uh, in GTA 5 when you go on little missions. Mini games I don't like in GTA 5 when you had to do like that, what is it, like the tennis, the yoga level or something, which, okay, fine. If you like that, that's fine. I'm not saying that you're not allowed to like a mini game. I just think that when you're an indie team with one person, and you really want to make a core game that feels good, you should really focus on making an efficient design, which in this case means every single mechanic I make ideally will be reusable in a few ways. Um, but yeah, jobs, there will be quests, and I do want to have outfits for like if you want to pretend to be a scientist or a doctor or something, newscaster. But in terms of actual like job gameplay, I think I'll just have like sort of things you can do that like sort of animations that look like a job, and then like you can get paid as you do them, or like stuff that I don't know. Maybe that'd make it less boring, but I really don't think people are coming into the game to pretend to be like a janitor or something, or pretend to do all these stuff like that. Like that's where you start approaching like the everything game, where like they're coming in to do everything. I think that y'all are coming in to be superheroes and pretend that you have to balance your normal life with the superhero life. Um, Cue credits. Um, the the so I don't know. I think janitors matter a lot, and I think we should pay them a lot more. I just don't think that, and I think that's part of the reason why is because I don't think being a janitor is very fun. I think that the janitors should be paid more than me probably because my job's kind of fun and I like doing it. And I just don't think that that's something that people necessarily, want to do. And it's just a shame that they don't get paid more for it. Ah, no, I guess yeah. If you consider cleaning up our own code, I guess maybe we all have some janitorial experience. But yeah, yeah, no, yeah. Trust me. I think that it's mostly just a what aspects, because I think actually, there is probably something to be said about like you want to have some games that like reward and show heroism in the less flashy jobs. And so maybe I think I'm open to the idea of like, helping out a janitor. And, fine. If people really want to pretend to be a janitor, um, sure. But also like you can just be a janitor, Like you can't be a surgeon. You can't necessarily just be a scientist. Those things take like a lot of inroads, but there are janitor jobs available. It's just they don't pay very well because I don't know, the system's rigged, I guess. Well, I went to Guatemala when I was 19, and there that was such an eye opener because I realized, okay, I do work hard, and I'm proud of my work. These people work way harder than me and are paid so much less, and that's when I was just like, yeah, this doesn't make sense. This is nonsense. They should be earning way more than me. They are doing such more miserable work than, and I don't know. That it was definitely a very radicalizing trip, I'd say. People have the hardest jobs, um, should be very well compensated for it. Uh, Teachers too. My current girlfriend, she used to be a teacher, and that was very draining. Let's see. Let's see. Is there an appeal system to get back in? No, not really. I mean, like, here's the thing. I don't want y'all to feel like I'm like, oh, you did something once bad in the Discord 100 years ago. Like, you're never allowed back in. It's not a y'all don't deserve redemption. It's a my moderators are saints and volunteers, and I don't want to make them relitigate like old cases like that. Like, like I don't, because for every one person who's genuinely changed and comes back and like is a good member of the community, there's like 8 or 9 of them who are just coming back in to spam nonsense and garbage. Like, I'm not saying we'll never make a pipeline to get back in, but for real, I don't know. Like, I would much rather we just turn a blind eye to people who are probably alt accounts, so long as they behave, rather than having to go through. So like, if you come back as an alt account and don't tell anyone and behave. Like, this isn't real life. You could just get a new account. You can, the but yeah, you can just re-roll. Um, but yeah, so let's see. What building should we make next? I know last time it was the refinery. So I guess so. We have refinery, docks, prison, bank, hospital. Uh, yeah. Okay. So I'm seeing one for news. Um, so everybody, yeah, no, like Pyro, for real. I I forgive you. You know, don't feel bad about it. I did a lot of dumb stuff when I was a teenager. I did a lot of dumb stuff as an adult. People do dumb things. It's just I have amazing moderators, and making an official pipeline to bring back banned people puts pressure on them. And I don't want to pressure them because they're already doing this work just to be supportive of the community. And like ideally, honestly, at some point, once the game's earning a lot more, I definitely would be in favor of like making some moderation stuff like a paid part-time position. Just like a basic contracting thing. Just like, okay, spend about X amount of hours a month active in the server, and we'll get you some payment for that. We'll see. Mighty, honestly, I'll be tempted to do this. I'm torn because on the one hand, like I I want it'd be cool if there was like an easy way to do like percentage payouts for that kind of stuff, but like temporary ones. Um, by the way, if there ever was paid moderation stuff, like it would definitely be a what's it called? Full um, it would definitely be like for adults only. Whenever I think that's something that a lot of the Roblox developers don't realize. When you work with someone who isn't 18, their parents have to sign. Like, if you do not want to explain to a judge why you decided it was okay to just to work with a minor without their parents there. You know, I think you'd be shocked how many times like a developer will come to BDMs like, oh, I'm working with these people. Like, are they adults? Are they under contract? And they'll be like, no and no, and like, you should get their parents involved in this. This is, just be responsible with it. Yeah, honestly, that's kind of a running theme with Roblox developers in general, because so many of them kind of came from an amateur background. They don't realize the basic, rules they have to follow. And thankfully, I think I've been pretty lucky for the most part in terms of not making too many stupid mistakes. But even I still made like a Marvel DC like game on an old account. Like, it happens. Nobody's going to sit down and explain like international IP law to a 12-year-old. But by the time you're an adult and doing game development full time, eh, reflect. Grow. Um, let's see, the about letting us be able to change character size. Yeah, I do want to support dynamic character sizes for sure. Um, could I be a construction worker on the unfinished building? Yeah, sure, go for it. Hey, thank you for stopping by. It's always nice when I hear, people saying they like the game. Like, to me, it's such like an odd feeling, the idea that all these people out there that I've never met just really enjoyed this thing I made, and that. To some extent, I think my brain doesn't even fully process it anymore. Not because I'm ungrateful, but because it's like there's a limit to how much your brain can process. Like it's kind of like if you ever if a million people ever said thank you, you couldn't say like you're welcome to every single one of them. Like it would just your brain would just short circuit immediately. Um, and so I think to some extent it's just kind of a delayed version of that. But like at the end of the day, I'm very thankful for having such an amazing supportive community who somehow is still showing up to streams, 6, 7 years after the games they like really came out. Um, yeah, let's see, we are, let's see, what, so did we ever decide which building we're working on? News, prison, fountain, news. Okay, it looks like we are going the news building. Which would be this one here, I think. Let me double check that. If y'all want to see like some like basic stuff, check out the Discord. If you want to like, and I'll occasionally post dev progress stuff. Though I haven't been doing it as much since since I started streaming. Um, well, I'll probably change that. The Okay, but going back to the zoning post I made, so the news building is this one. In fact, let's just take a moment to name everything. So news, um, this is the bank. Wait a second. Uh, this is the bank. This is the apartments. Um, okay, so school, hospital, mall. Yeah, this entire thing is the mall. Okay, what's this one? This is the construction building. Construction, prison, town hall. All right, perfect. And now I just need to pull back out the stream chat. Okay. Uh, well, let's see. We are considering having an in-game moderation queue, but at the end of the day, like part of the reason this game existing is kind of odd. Like under most circumstances, it's kind of like how many YouTube channels would not exist if they had to pay for mass distribution of like their work in theaters. Um, Part of the reason that a team this size can function at all is because we don't spend a lot of time on moderation. We let Roblox handle that. But I also know they don't handle it perfectly. So as we scale up, I am interested now in doing more hands-on in-game moderation. But until then, I definitely think that what's it called? I think that having custom servers with local moderators, like sort of assigned by the server owner, I think that is probably the ideal. Um, let's see. How many other maps are you going to be adding to the Superhero Life 2 game? We're just keeping it to this map, but we are going to be making new Superhero Life games. Superhero Life 4 will probably have, more maps that you can travel to. Um, let's see. The suit glitch will be in the sense that all the stuff you want to do with it will be doable, but it won't be a glitch anymore. It'll just be a better mechanic. Um, how many new maps for you? Let's see. Can a construction worker be? Yeah, sure. No, you can be a construction worker. You can, that I definitely think that having a role for each building, a few roles even, would be nice. Um, will there be any secret bases for most of these buildings? I do want to add more secret base stuff. That was very fun. That's actually something in Superhero Life 1. Superhero Life 1 had like a secret base. It was just in some random building. You just walk in and it'd be like this cool headquarters area. So I would love to have more, secret base stuff. Because like honestly, this game's map is pretty boring. There are some nice areas. I think that let's see, is it right here? Here it is, yeah. I think that this is a cool thing. Um, what else? This is a cool thing in concept, but not execution. And then like beyond that, it's like a pretty boring stock city. Um, yeah, like you really don't get the vibe that it's supposed to be a superhero thing. So yeah, I do hope to make it a little bit more, visually appealing. But yeah, so news buildings. Uh, let's see, what kind of news building should we go for? Let's open up the Miro. Hostages and a lot of NPC stuff will be reserved for Superhero Life 4. I might do basic NPCs in Superhero Life 2 that just kind of run away. Um, because I think you don't want the city to feel empty. Um, but for the most part, you really don't want to. Okay, so brainstorming. All right, so I think we can just sort of group that up, move it away. All right, so news building. Let's. Uh, it wasn't actually meant to be inspired by Fox News. It was just. I think I didn't realize the reference. I didn't watch a bunch of news growing up. Yeah, yeah, it was really just like, oh yeah, a news thing because Peter Parker and Clark Kent were both in the newspaper. And so, yeah, just made sense. Okay, so I mean, I guess the first one is sort of there's the Daily News building. That This one is like pretty, I think I might have even seen this one. Is this New York? This gives me New York vibes. Though this building might not be showing up because it's iconic, but just because it has the word news in it. Um, I mean, like at the end of the day, what kind of things even need to show? Oh yeah, New York. Okay. Like a TV studio is fine. I think it's just it's mostly just honestly, maybe I'm looking at this the wrong way. Let's get some one thing that I did that I think really worked out in the chess life game was I just got some reference materials for like different building styles. Um, so like, what's let's go some rapid fire. All right, let's do some different. All right, the bank building will be redesigned, but like honestly, of the original building, it's probably the most like I like its design the most. It does a good job, but it needs more interior stuff for sure. So like let's just decide some different like. Well, what's that one building style? Oh, right. See you, Ryan. Glad to hear you're excited. I am too. And I'm excited for your game. You got, remember, it's a race. You got to release yours first. Okay. What is that? What's that New York style that's like, it's like all fancy. It's like Great Gatsby, you know? Okay. I'm just gonna look up skyscraper styles. Um, okay. So multi-hair, because it already exists, multi-hair is interesting because on the one hand, I do agree it's a bit silly to make it Art Deco. That was it. Yeah. So yeah, yeah. It is a bit silly to make people pay for different hairstyles, I think. Um, however, okay, yeah. So here's some Art Deco. Here's some here like let's just make different. Okay, so Art Deco. We have this stuff. Some very uh, specific buildings. Um, but yeah, like I think these look pretty good. I'm not saying we're necessarily going to do Art Deco for the uh, news building. I'm just saying that I want to know what my options are. Um, the okay, so I'm good. There's also the international style. Um, let's see. This is what we call all right. So international style right here. All right. So we have this. Um, yeah, no, I'm definitely fine with, having some sort of beach stuff. Um, let's see, in terms of a billboard, we'll see. I guess it's always maybe I probably do that like a dock or something, or because that's where you'd actually enter the city from. The release date, I don't have any release date specific because release dates are hard for me because um, like at the time when I can 100% tell you the game is going to be playable, it is also done. Like, so at this, the first day in which I know the release date is the first day in which you can play it. So, um, you know, every studio deals with this to an extent. Some are better at it than others. I'm not as good at it. Granted, I'm not held to the same pressure and high standards as like a studio which puts marketing behind a specific date. Um, but yeah, and I think we have okay, so modern. Okay, so Art Deco style, modern style. Oh wait, am I frozen? No, I'm not frozen. Am I frozen? No, I'm right. I'm fine. All right, yeah, no, I use a camera app on my phone. If I do this long enough, I might buy like an actual webcam, but it's mostly just because your camera is probably the most expensive the camera on your phone is probably the most expensive camera you'll buy. And so for the most part, it's like, yeah, might as well get use out of it. Um, yeah, I see a lot of different acronyms for the different news things. We'll probably just go with something like you know the the city name news, unless I want to do like lore stuff. But frankly, I don't know. I always feel like media talking about like the news. Um, I don't know. It's just bit boring. Like, yeah, no, how you cover things impacts how people understand it. I think everyone kind of understands that at this point. Even if you're in some really, crazy offshoot politics, everyone understands, news media influences things. So, because it's also a thing which is really hard to have like a good answer to, like, should we regulate more? Should we, should we regulate less? Should we allow them to say certain things? Is there a certain degree of factuality that we need to require people to? Should we allow them to cover all types of news? It's just such a mess. I think that I'm probably, if there's going to be, I think every game has politics in it, whether the developer recognizes it or not. Like, I don't think that you consider like a driving simulator a political game, but you know, designing a city around cars is a political decision. It's like there's sort of like what is considered the default is political, and so you kind of have to make a decision. And I think for the most part, I when you make something, you have to consider like, okay, what kind of politics is this putting forward? And when it comes to the news, I'm fine like not touching that. Like, yeah, this isn't a game about news. This has nothing to do about any of that. Um, and how do I feel about Superhero Life 3? Um, the let's see. I I think that Superhero Life 3 gets a bad rap, but I understand why people don't like it. I think that imagine someone made a sandwich out of the highest ingredients, but it tasted bad. Like every individual ingredient is pretty high quality, and you can see that like talent went into making those ingredients. But at the end of the day, if it doesn't taste good, it doesn't taste good. Like, and I think that's what happened with Superhero Life 3. We put in a lot of effort into making that game good, but as the producer of it, I failed to iterate and design it in a way which actually made the most of the ingredients. Have you ever heard of the phrase greater than the sum of its parts? Superhero Life 3 is lesser than the sum of its parts. And it's a shame. But hopefully, with the remake, that is a shame that will not last forever. Gordon Ramsay's grilled cheese? Maybe, maybe. Um, I'd like to think I'm nicer than Gordon Ramsay. Let's see but I feel like everyone who's a jerk though doesn't actually realize how much of a jerk they are. So I feel like they just think, oh, I'm just spicy. I'm just, yeah, like, I'm just grumpy. I'm a curmudgeon, which I do say sometimes, but makes you stop and think like, okay, am I what? Because at the same time, though, you don't want to like go around thinking like, oh, like I only give out positive vibes. Everyone has some rough moments, and sometimes those rough moments happen regularly. So it's like, what's the balance between being a nice person, which most people get along with, and also recognizing that you got some toxic traits, and that's kind of something everyone's got to figure out to some extent. But my goodness, some people don't even seem to be trying. Yeah, hard to say. Um, so wait, so in terms of transferring the suits, I'm just going to be using the same data store. I'm going to be right now you can save and retrieve things in the data store. And then once I move to the new version of the game, I will retrieve the previous version of your data and translate it into a new data store. So it this will um, yeah. So basically, whenever a new user enters the game. If they don't have any data in the new data store, it'll check the old one, and if old data exists, then it will take that data and translate it into the new format. So all of your old stuff should translate over, Um, but yeah, that's the current plan. Long term, once I might do like a custom command to like mass translate all of them to get things a little bit faster. But but yeah, the uh, I mean, I think for the most part, what are some other good building styles? I want us to assemble a style palette. You know, like I want us to. It's funny how like how high resolution this one is. The so multi-hair. If I make multi-hair a mechanic, which I probably will, I'm gonna have to find a way to compensate um, the people who bought the Game Pass. So that like it's not. But that's the thing. It's not necessarily a no. It's just like that's a big question, and I don't know what I want to do with it yet. We'll see. Um, okay, so what's some modernism? I mean, like for the most part, modernism is just kind of be freaky with it. Like just make a bunch of weird shapes. Like, there's no like saying something like is modernist. It's not. I know there's like actual trends and like there's some like architectural like historian out there who's like ripping their hair out. But for the most part, like I don't think that the layperson, if they look at a building that just has like some weird curves or like it's just a weird shape, I don't think people will be like, that's obviously invoking these aspects of modernism. But for the most part, I think people can sort of see what an Art Deco building looks like, or like a Gothic building. I think that those are a lot more homogeneous in their implementations. Whereas, with modernism, I feel like part of the idea was breaking the mold a bit and like trying some really interesting shapes. And so it's a bit harder to like sort of just look at and like see like, of course this is modernism. Like, and I know postmodernism is a thing. I couldn't tell you what the difference is, which is why I'm a game developer, not an architect. The Let's see, have y'all stopped talking or did it freeze? Which it's fine if y'all stop talking. I talk. Lord knows I talk enough. The Let's see. Yeah, still here. All right, awesome. I'm just going to assume y'all start talking because you were just so entranced by my, uh, complex, layered statement on how I don't really know much about architectural styles. But yeah, what are some other building styles? What's that one in the 70s? I guess like brutalist. Uh, like there's some good brutalist buildings. Brutalism is one of those like I think it's more of a controversial one because people think it looks ugly, and I can see what they mean. Like, I like this is obviously like this is like a parking garage, like, but at the same time, I don't know. I kind of think it's like when the vibe is that this should be like an imposing, impressive thing. Brutalism does a decent job, and I don't know. I You don't want to go overboard with it. I would hate to live in a city that's only brutalism. But I do not hate seeing the occasional brutalist building, especially not when like it's done a little bit more artistically. Like look at this. Like this is kind of nice. Like it's not for everyone. I don't think it's fair to say that you hate this. Like I'm living in Brazil right now. 90% of the buildings here are concrete only. You can't just say all of that will be ugly. You just gotta try a little bit more. Neo-futurism. That could be pretty good. I'm going to look up some neo-futurism architecture. Um, but yeah. Okay. So Roblox doesn't allow me to do refunds. I think that'd be interesting if I could just like spend like an X amount of Robux to like refund every single person who bought something. That'd be pretty cool. I like, let's see though, though it does make me wonder how much that would actually cost. Um, but for the most part, even then, like I would prefer instead to um, definitely like I would prefer to translate it into other in-game things because like I don't know if I have enough money lying around to translate that back. And I think though at the most part though like it's kind of trapping because on the one hand you don't want to like I think a lot of people would agree the combined hair things is kind of like a okay, so it looks like I can tell you that the that has been bought 11,000 times 11,000 times 300 times so yeah, so that has earned about $12,000 in the last 6 years. So for 7 years. So that's around about $2,000 a year, or you know, of 143 a month. So yeah, like it earned a decent amount. It's just who wouldn't benefit from an extra 150 bucks each month? But at the same time, like I don't want the game to be. I want people to be able to fully customize their characters, and I don't want them like the fact that I monetize this one area to really limit that. But at the same time, like $150 a month, that's literally been my health insurance, like for like a few years. Like that's so it's like like it's a torn between technically not monetizing the game is the best gameplay, but also I am a person who needs to live. So I don't know. It is tough. I think that definitely we'll figure out. Maybe we'll just do it by poll or something where like um the everyone kind of there's got to be some way to determine like a basic market value for that hair. Like how much people would be willing to pay to add a different hairstyle. I don't know. It's tough. I mean, like honestly, because it's so ingrained in there that like it's almost easier just to leave it because if you refund it, sorry, like we can't refund it because Roblox doesn't support it, and frankly, I can't afford it. I don't have an extra 12,000 sitting around. And also, let's be honest, the majority of the people who bought that Game Pass are not playing the game still, So it's like it doesn't actually functionally affect most of them. Like, um, and so it's just like what and also it works like I didn't scam them. It works. They have that, and also I'm not under any contract to keep it there forever. Like it's just yeah, it just feels like you just want people to feel you want your audience to feel respected, and you want them to feel like when they purchase something from your game that like they get the full value out of that. And so for that it's like I don't know, well, once I have more of an economy in mind, um, you know, I think it might just be a thing of like anyone who bought this gets an absurd amount of in-game money, like just a ridiculous amount. Like that, I think that'll probably be the way we end up doing it, just because like if they felt and like maybe like a custom flare or something, like if they bought it for the functionality will be free. If they bought it to feel like cooler than others, they now have enough in-game money to buy something to feel cooler than others. Like I think that should work pretty well for the most part. Um, okay. Do I know Alan? No, not really. I mean, like I know of him, and we've talked a few times, but like I'm not like close friends with him or anything. I know that he has made some cool stuff in the game, which is, appreciated. If only all people who modded the game behaved as well as that as Alan. Um, okay, so someone's saying so. Yeah, neo-futurism. Okay. It's cool. Neo-futurism is cool, but like I can tell y'all, this is gonna be such a pain to make. You know, like this is Roblox. I'm not talented enough for this. All right, let me show it. Let me bring it in. All right, copy image. All right, there we go. So that's neo-futurism. Um, yeah, it's a cool vibe. It's a cool vibe. I could definitely see myself doing neo-futurism interiors more than exteriors because exteriors like how do you make this out of parts? This is a blender thing. This is a you do some fancy equation in Blender and it makes this. This is not a handcrafted thing. This is a we computers exist now and you know how to use them. Um, but yeah, uh, the so what else? Yeah. No, exactly. I need Blender. Like that. I am not talented enough to do that with parts. Um, but yeah, no, neo-futurism is cool. We're gonna have to be a bit more creative. Okay, so what else? Okay. Actually, okay, this one might be doable. Check this out. Okay, this kind of style is a little bit more reasonable. Just some like more organic shapes, but not necessarily something insane. Like you can see how you do this. The little wires, that'd be a headache, but like less of a headache. Like if you had like a coil mesh or something, and then just copied it like 20 times or something. Yeah, but also we wouldn't be making this exact building. Like my goal here is not to steal. My goal here is to understand these wider artistic movements that shape cities. Because I'm trying to make this city feel like a thing. Let's see. I want to do some. I do like solar punk stuff a bit, but for the most part, like I don't know, solar punk I'm torn on because on the one hand, I think the buildings look very beautiful. On the other hand, from like a practicality perspective, it is the dumbest idea. It destroys the building. It doesn't even offset your CO2 footprint that much. It's just fully like the, banning plastic straws of urbanism. It's like this technically is better, but also not really. And it kind of the amount of effort it takes could have been spent somewhere that actually helped. Like, I don't even know if I'd say it's technically better half the time. Um, 'Cause the I think the people who make stuff with the suit glitch are saints because they saw a stubborn amateur developer put a limitation on their creativity. And instead of quitting the game and going to another one, they decided to, bend the rules to make sure that they could make the game fun for themselves and others. So, that's why I want to make it an official, canonical, thing. Yeah. But anyway, neo-futurism, that's not happening anytime soon. Um, does anyone know any good styles with bricks? Like just like something kind of like Purdue University has a lot of it, but that's not skyscrapers. Like what do you call like old buildings that are made of bricks? Like old brick skyscrapers. I just looked up brick style, and it looks like we have some promising ones. Um, Bricks are cool. I like bricks. Well, I'm in Brazil, so yeah. The bricks. I'm finding like a lot of like, oh, is that one building they rotated? Sorry, there's I'm seeing this image pop up of like the home insurance building and like the and I remember there's this one GIF of like some Indianapolis building that got rotated, which I thought was always pretty cool. So steampunk, I like that as an aesthetic. I definitely need to. I think it's hard to do as one that like just kind of exists as a little part of a bigger world. I think that if you have like, unless you have like a fantasy world where like, like a person's lab or something, for the most part, when you make a steampunk game, you're making a steampunk game. You can't just like add a little bit of steampunk to something else unless you have like a really cool level. For a city, like that's like there aren't like name like a steampunk city in real life, or like or like a city with a single steampunk building. Yeah, I appreciate it. Yeah, no, I appreciate y'all. I'm definitely gonna need some divine guidance to actually release a game after all this time. Um, that's not true. I released Chess Life. It didn't do very well because uh, I needed to release it faster and iterate more quickly. Um, so the I don't know. There's just like there are brick buildings. Though honestly, this just feels kind of like Art Deco. Like, isn't this just Art Deco? I'm looking at these fancy arches. I don't know. Brick style isn't like a thing. That's just like a material, you know? Ah, oh well. But like, I just want like something, something where like they made it out of bricks, like just like almost like a dormitory, you know? Okay. Anyway, Mm. Is it? This doesn't feel like Art Deco. It's not fancy enough, but like, okay. So we have these. Okay, so we have some styles to choose from. Um, what is a so which one should we use for the uh, yeah, oh yeah, yeah, Superhero Life 2. Yeah, it was part of the Incredibles 2 release marketing. That was pretty fun. Yeah, the I really liked Incredibles 1, and there were parts I liked too. I feel that 2, um, it was weird because I really liked watching it the first time, and then just rewatching it, I was like, this sounds good. Like I mean, everyone's talked to death about this film to an extent. Everyone knows it's a disappointment. It's just why? Why is it a disappointment? Um, it's shocking to me how many of these films, it really Superhero Life 3 and Incredibles 2 have similar vibes in the sense of like you can tell that they're more talented at a surface level, but then they've kind of lost the overall motivation for why people liked the first one. And like they've lost some of the complexity, some of the emergent value that I don't think they appreciated the first time through. Which so I mean I can sympathize. um, but yeah, the hmm yeah, the superhero like there was definitely over monetized. And that's partially an overreaction to, I think, like Superhero Life 2, I wouldn't say under monetized, but it was not, because that implies there's like an ideal level of monetization, I guess. Like monetizing is a, imagine an electric dam or something. Like in monetization is that where you have a river, um, except you're also as the game developer, your goal is to make a river with a lot of energy, and then as the as a to keep the game like able to be made from a profitability standpoint, you really have to then take some of that energy in the river and like capture it. But that also reduces the amount of river there is. So it's like there's like a sliding scale between, completely free game that, the company goes under pretty quickly, and like, Diablo-esque over monetized to hell and back. Almost no fun can be had unless you spend money. Like uh, the Yes, I don't know. I think that for the most part, I the core gameplay, the part that people really like, the heart of it, like the source of the reason people enjoy the game, should be very accessible. Um, it's just as to like whether all of it has to be, like is multiple hair is like do people really need to have multiple hair to create the ultimate superhero? Not necessarily. A lot of people have succeeded without it. Um, so, it's like monetize the unnecessary but still desirable. But like you want them to be happy that they bought it. You want them to be like, yeah, that was a good purchase. It shouldn't feel like they were like, I can't believe they monetized this, which I do think the hair Game Pass felt like to an extent. Um, but it's hard to get monetization right. I'm really not the person anyone should turn to for monetization ideas because everything that's affected to me feels exploitative, and everything that doesn't feel exploitative feels effective. Maybe there's some commentary on that, um, but I don't know. Like I really wish there was like a clear way to make these kind of games, and like because right now I'm 26. Who knows? 5 years from now, I might have a kid, might have a house. We'll see. I don't know. I don't know. I'm not that far ahead, but like, if I ever get a kid and I'm earning like, 20,000 a year, that kid's not going to college. Like you gotta, and especially the fact of like, AI really speeding up. There's something to be said that my job might not be as protected super long term. Like, give it 10 years, 5 years even. It might be pretty hard for me to make a competitive game. Um, and so as a result, like, you kind of want to save up some money. But yeah, it's just things to consider. I'm sure y'all can understand. It's like there's just a weird bit of friction between us because we both like the game. We both want the game to be fun, but also like this is a business transaction. Like we're not best friends or anything, but also we both genuinely, I think, are emotionally involved in this game being fun. So yeah, it's like we're an alliance, but we're not on the same team. Um, yeah, so yeah, it's just complicated. World is complicated and tiring, and that's why I keep things simple with programming. Uh, Programming is so much easier than real life, and I'm not good at programming. I think international is we are doing the news building. Like, what's that? What was the CNN tower? That one's in Toronto, right? Like, so there are different like yeah, but like I guess like should we go for like a New York Times kind of building? Like, Yeah, because then you have something like, the, what style even is this? It's like, it's kind of modern. Almost. Like, like you see they're using glass and metal. Um, but yeah, we need to find a way to make it like discernible from like a skyline. Like, I feel like maybe it's just the impact of of seeing the CNN tower, but I feel like the Seattle Space Needle would be like a pretty cool looking news organization to just put like a antenna or like radar or dish or something at the top, which obviously don't do that. It would desecrate the landmark, but still, yeah, yeah, let's see. Is the Wall Street Journal building, does that have anything? Yeah, no, I mean, it looks like for the most part, like all the newspaper buildings are pretty modern. Okay, so we're sticking with the modern building. Okay. Um, let's see. Do I have, okay, let me, I could have sworn that I had like a facade, like where is that thing? No, no, that's solar panels. Maybe it was concrete. That would kind of make sense because like it's a building. Sorry, just the plastic is where I put all the weird ones that don't fit. Um, let's see, wood, stone. Uh, all right, here's some. All right, perfect. Yay, we did it. Um, okay. What about this one? Okay, let's brighten it up a bit. Okay, so we have this one, got this one, got that one. I've seen this one everywhere. Um, no, yeah. Oh yeah, this is the same architecture style as the school. Got that same window brick vibe. Um, yeah, I think really the material itself is fairly unimportant. It's mostly just the how do we make this look like a news building? You know, like how do we make this an interesting building? Okay. But also like the news buildings in the superhero like games have always been fairly standard. Um, I almost want to do something like, oh, also, I don't know if y'all caught this. Did anyone here watch Teen Titans? There was this fight sequence they had on a roof of I think like a Wayne Tower or something. Um, that was definitely an inspiration for the top of the news building. I just thought it was cool to have a fight sequence, be able to have combats like out on a rooftop with like like those kind of lettering. No, it's not like anything too deep, but yeah, I just thought, yeah, that was cool. Like this thing, I grew up on it too, so it's like you, not very few things I'd say are like a one-to-one definite 100%. This is the only inspiration. Like I'm pretty sure at some point the idea of like one of these falling, like on an opponent, like there's not one single inspiration for any of this, but you can definitely see some of the clear ones when you understand the context. Um, yeah, Okay, I'm mostly just trying to, desperately trying to figure out all right. So how about show and explore? Okay, copy this here. Oh wait, I selected the wrong one. I which one was it? So this one? No, this one? Yeah. Okay. Locate that, paste into a, okay, so so let's see, so go in facade interior, exterior, 96. That's too big. 64. It's okay. You know, this is cool. I like this. Okay, so um, all right. So I'm just gonna make a modification of it. Okay, so we're going to actually I probably shouldn't do the top one. That that doesn't make sense. Mhm. All right, yeah. So we have, the okay, yeah. These aren't necessarily going to be the final ones. It's more of just like we want to get the vibes across, but I think it does a pretty good job of that. Yeah. Okay. So from there, closing that one. Um, let's see. So 128. Yeah, that's all right. Okay. Oh yeah. Yeah. I appreciate y'all playing. The I'm just shocked that people still, remember it or hold it in any regard, uh, all of these all of these years later. Um, let's see. 72. Oh, it's pretty good. 96. Okay, I think that fits. And then for here, it's already fitting all right. Okay, so obviously, I'm not saying that this is going to be like the only. Remember, these are prototypes. Please don't judge me for making it like a really ugly, basic thing at this stage. I know, I know. It's a process. It's like sculpting. You start out with just a basic thing, and then you refine it, and then through enough trial and error, you get to something better. Um, but no, for this one, I really just need to figure out what to do with this because this building is so boring. Whew, okay. Um, yes, gotta trust the process. Um, I always liked, you know, what's that tower in the middle of tower in LA? Like the GTA one, you know? I always liked that one. That one had a good. Yeah, it's technically it's a bank, not a. Honestly, that's the thing in life. All of the coolest buildings are just banks. I know, sad. Um, what even art style is this? It's like kind of a brutalist, somewhere between brutalist and like modern. You know, it's like we're gonna have this be the ambassador between the two. Um, but yeah, like something like this. Like imagine having a like the antenna here, and then like kind of having like the news name here. Um, I don't know, like somewhere between this and like the CNN tower. Um, am I going to add? Yeah, yes, the Wilshire Grand Center. That's what it's called. Have you seen? Oh yeah, there. Yeah, I have seen the HD remake map. That is a very cool project. Yeah, definitely, y'all should go check it out if you haven't. It's very flattering to have someone remake something that you've made. Like that's such a weird experience. It's like, oh, you make this thing like, oh, it's pretty good. You don't usually make it thinking it's enough for like someone else to want to do it, you know? Um, it's like dressing a certain way and the next day everyone else is dressed that way. You know, it's just like, ah, didn't expect that. Didn't expect to start a trend. Last time I started a trend like that was I was the first person to ride a scooter um, to the Roblox headquarters just on a daily commute. And now interns do it all the time. And I just want to know, I was first. Nobody else did it, probably, at least in 2017. I did it. Then I gave my scooter to someone else when I moved back to college, and everyone else was like, and I guess that just kept it going. Wonder whatever happened to that. I don't even remember who I gave it to. Just another intern, someone who works there. Am I going to add depth to the lake? I'll probably make it deeper than it was, just like because that makes more sense. But I'm not going to like make it, like it's not going to be the Marianas Trench or anything. Would be funny to have like a little secret place down there though. Um, what was that building in Megamind? Like the one that they picked up. Actually, that's pretty close to the one in that's pretty close to the Wilshire Grand Center. Like the one that the Titan picked up and threw. That had kind of a shape. You could tell that the people in that movie either loved or hated that building because in one scene, like the guy like did like a supersonic jump off it, shattering all the windows, and then later they just totally destroy it. Yeah. The Where's the giant lake? I'll make it, y'all. It's a process, We gotta. We're doing like a very basic gray box layer. Okay. But I am pretty certain I want this to be round. Um, to this day, one of my biggest regrets for Roblox is that it chose the X axis to be the pivot one for these rather than the y-axis because originally I'm guessing they were used for tires, and now it just always feels wrong. Like you see, even the texture wrapping doesn't really look that good. Eh, let's see. Let's just ditch the material for right now. Okay. Um, okay. I'm just gonna make a giant glass cylinder. I said I was going to ditch the texture, but I did not last very long in that commitment. Okay. Let me standardize the scales. Okay, so let's just go with 144, 144. Change this to a scale. Actually align it with the, there we go. There we go. Dang, that texture just flips on that side, doesn't it? Well, doesn't look nearly as bad as one might think. Hmm. I don't want to just make the Burj Khalifa. Like, that's what all of them just end up looking like. Yeah. This is the news building. We're taking some inspiration from, let's see, I guess we're taking some inspiration from these and this. And, just that requires, okay, like, okay, so that part looks all right. Do you think you could put the truss towers on the sides so not only looks but climbable? I do want to make this game more climbable. I think that's definitely something I want to do. I don't know if I'm going to do it by truss. Like I want it to, maybe I'll just put orange paint on the climbable things. No, no, but like ideally, I'd have like some sort of robust, like sort of parkour system where you could just grab onto ledges and like run up walls. That'd be nice. But that's a little bit farther into the future, I think. Um, right. So, well, that just looks like a. Okay. Uh, it's a problem whenever you make a skyscraper. It's inevitably. Uh, yeah, no, the current wall climbing power is definitely um, under underutilized. I kind of like the idea of like a giant water tower or something. Like just like a giant rotating like conference center or something in the sky. Does that make sense? Yeah, Mirror's Edge, I think, gets away with having bright red all of this because it's such like a specifically stylized game, you know, like having a having those bright red points, I think get is a lot more notable when there's no other red in the map except for those points. So I think that gives it a lot of flexibility. But I am open to like, you know, having there be like a climbing, a way of showing people that this is climbable. You know, like that seems pretty necessary. Um, okay, so where did these go? All right, I need to put these in the refinery. Um, you know, this kind of reminds me of the Superhero Life 4 center tower. It's crazy how often I repeat myself in my designs. Um, let's see. I think right here we could really utilize some different, some of those special shapes, the parts plus, you know? Where's like one that looks, okay, hold on. How does this look? Yeah. Um, okay. So that goes into this. The texture is, of course, not happy, but I don't know. I feel like it loses some of it. I okay. We'll see. We'll see. I think that you know there's. Okay, what about this one? Oh, hold on. Let's try this again. Okay. uh, oh wait, we're actually at 9:30. So maybe wait, we'll try this. See how it looks, and then you know the very rough. Whoops. All right, we're going to have to. I don't know. We're gonna have to sleep on this one. I don't know. So, something there's something here. I want to have this up here. I think this up here looks great, but actually getting to that point, that's a headache. So, but I think that is probably all for tonight. Um, let's see. We're gonna work on. We're gonna return tomorrow. Make some more progress, hopefully. Um, but yeah. All right. Thank y'all as always for stopping by. I really appreciate it. We're gonna make something really cool together. And yeah, all right. I will talk to y'all later. Bye.